In the ancient time, before paths were named and before the drum learned rhythm, the land of Lucoma breathed with living spirits. Rivers listened, trees remembered, and animals carried lessons for those humble enough to observe them. The elders said, "A child is not raised by a woman alone, but by the earth itself." In this land lived Nabirye, a woman whose beauty was known beyond the river bend. Her laughter floated like bird song, and her steps were light as falling leaves. Yet behind her smile lived a quiet sorrow. Her womb had known no child. Each dawn, Nabirye walked to the river where the crowned crane stood motionless in the water. She watched its long patience and whispered, "Teach me how to wait." Seasons passed. One night when the moon hid behind clouds and the owl called 3 times, Nabirye felt life move within her. When her child was born, the wind softened and even the dogs fell silent. It was a baby girl. The midwives wrapped her in cloth and said, "This one arrives with spirits walking beside her." She was named Ayo, joy that asks something in return. For many days the village danced, goats were slaughtered, millet beer flowed, and Nabirye stood tall, her heart swelling like a river in flood. She believed motherhood was a gift meant only to be admired. But the elders watched quietly. As Io grew, her cries pierced the night. She woke when the moon was high and slept when the sun demanded labor. Nabirye grew tired and impatient. She loved Io when neighbors praised her, but when the child cried without reason, Nabirye turned away. At night, the hyena laughed beyond the village. The elders said, "That laughter mocks careless hearts." But Nabirye did not listen. She admired the gazelle, swift and unburdened, leaping freely across the plains. Nabirye longed for her old life, dancing, gossiping, wandering without weight. She left Io with neighbors and followed her freedom. One evening an old woman spoke gently to her. "A mother must learn from the tortoise. It carries its home everywhere." Nabirye laughed. "I am not slow like the tortoise." Then came the year when the rains forgot the land. The river shrank, the earth cracked, hunger crept into huts like smoke. Mothers learned from the ant, storing and sharing. They learned from the elephant, who shields its young even when wounded. But Nabirye feared hunger more than shame. One morning, she left Io alone to search for food for herself. As she walked, a python crossed her path, thick, slow, and silent. It lifted its head and watched her. In old stories, the python is a warning. What you abandon may coil around your spirit. Nabirye ignored it. The sky darkened, wind screamed, a storm fell upon Lucoma like an angry ancestor. When Nabirye returned, her hut lay broken, grass roof soaked, walls collapsed. Inside, Io lay crying, cold, wet, barely breathing. At that moment, a lioness roared from the hills. The sound tore through Nabirye's chest. Something ancient awoke inside her, a fire older than fear. She gathered Io, pressed her to her breast, and wept as the rain softened. That night, Nabirye dreamed. She stood in a great clearing. Animals surrounded her. The hen spread her wings and said, "Cover your child." The dog spoke, "Stay faithful even when tired." The weaver bird sang, "Build your home patiently, strand by strand." The elephant stamped the ground, "Never forget your child, even in pain." The tortoise spoke last, "Slow steps still reach the destination." Nabirye woke before dawn, changed. From that day she rose with the rooster, she fetched water until her back ached, she worked fields with bleeding hands. When food was little, she ate last. When sickness came, she carried Io for days to the healer, singing life into her small body. The hyena stopped laughing. Years passed. Io grew strong, her eyes calm like deep water. She learned kindness from her mother's sacrifice and courage from her mother's silence. Nabirye's beauty faded, but her spirit grew tall like the baobab, a tree that shelters many. When people asked Nabirye how she became such a mother, she answered softly, "I listened to the animals when I failed my child." The elders taught the children of Lukoma, motherhood is not the joy of birth, but the courage to change. Final moral: a woman becomes a mother not when she gives life, but when she learns to protect, sacrifice, and endure, just as the animals of the earth have always done.